Welcome to 5 and 5 from One Stop Co-op Shop, where I review 5 key design decisions about a game in about 5 minutes. I'm Michael Kelly, and today I'm looking at Escape the Dark Castle from Theme-Born Games. Although I love games with tough tactical choices like Root and Scythe, sometimes I just want to go on an adventure and roll some dice and see what happens. So is the theme enough to win out here over a potential lack of substance? Let's find out and get to the list. So the first point I want to highlight is, no surprise, that the game is very, very random. The cards in the chapter deck that you draw can totally make or break your game. If you get a whole bunch of ones that give you free items or healing like I did in my playthrough, you might win. If, on the other hand, you get mobbed by thieves, skeletons, and demons, you're gonna die almost every time, and I do die almost every time I play the game. But I will note on the positive side that, for me, and I think for a lot of players, the randomness makes things more memorable. Like the time that your friends just couldn't stop that skeleton from gnawing on you turn after turn, and you took 5 damage all at once and almost lost the game right there. That's exciting. That's gonna stick in your mind for a while. My next is also a mix, and that's how combat is handled in the game. On the positive side, while choices in combat are fairly limited, they do feel somewhat consequential. You have the choice every round of letting a single character rest or not, and since you can see what dice the enemies have remaining and what probabilities you have of hitting those dice, it becomes a somewhat interesting choice on a turn-by-turn basis. However, apart from a few item special abilities, that's the only choice you'll make in combat. All the rest is roll, 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 see if they die, which could be a letdown for some people. We just keep on hammering on the mixes here because I think this game could be incredibly polarizing, and our third one is the same with the variety in the game. On the negative side, I think some gamers are going to feel like maybe they're not getting enough game here because it's not an incredibly cheap game, although it's not too expensive either. You get 45 unique encounters and 3 unique bosses, but after you play the game 4 or 5 or 6 times, you'll have seen every single card at least once. Now, if you enjoy the way those cards come out randomly and the different little adventure you go on and just have fun with the game system and have fun dying, that's not going to bother you too much. But if one of the major reasons you enjoy the game is seeing the new cards and seeing what encounters exist, you're going to have to buy expansions pretty quickly, and that'll make what should be a fairly inexpensive filler kind of a game become a lot more than you bargained for. I've emphasized the fact already that a lot of the game isn't too choice-driven and comes down to randomness, but that being said, there is a positive side to the push-your-luck elements that are at play here. Every character has their own unique character die that has very specific probabilities of rolling each result. Because of that, when the cards give you choices, and many of them do, like do you rob this person but risk taking damage, you can very easily see exactly how good or bad your chances are of succeeding at that action. This makes the mental choices of risk-reward pretty interesting even in such a light game. These choices become even slightly more interesting with the items, which, while they have very simple effects, do sometimes give you more things to consider. Like, do I use my potion that'll automatically let me pass this test? That said, this still isn't going to work for some people because they're going to feel like choices were maybe too obvious, the probabilities are too easy to calculate, and maybe it doesn't feel like it's really a choice at all. And we do finally get out of the doldrums of the middle at the end. Is it a pro? Is it a con? It's a big pro, and that's the theme and the art and the immersion in the game. To start with the art, I find it incredibly charming. Now, this might be a personal thing because the art does give me a bit of a nostalgia kick for artists like Gary Chalk, who used to do the original art for the Lone Wolf series. But I find the black and white art, while sometimes disturbing, to have great detail and to really be evocative of the horrific things that are happening to you on your journey in the castle. But beyond that, I think the writing, while fairly limited on a card-by-card basis, is really fun, is really immersive, really makes me feel like I'm playing a little desperate RPG in a box. And just to mention the components briefly, the encounter cards are these huge, beautiful illustrations and really let you feel like kind of the importance and fun of opening this book for the game and seeing what your adventure takes you to. So overall, Escape the Dark Castle is going to be a hit for some groups and a total dud for others. I cannot recommend this to everybody. The game is random. You don't make very many meaningful choices. You will die a lot, and you won't necessarily feel like you did much to make that happen or not happen. If all that sounds like a huge pass, then please don't buy this game because you probably will regret it. But if you're like me and you get into the theme, into the adventure, you don't mind dying, you like the little push-your-luck choices that you are allowed to make, this is a great, immersive little game that is incredibly accessible. I played it with some heavy editing with my 6-year-old and he loved it. I played it with some heavy gamers and they expected to hate it and they loved it too. So I think despite the lightness of the game, it does kind of reach across aisles and surprise people with how fun and engaging it can be. Good gaming everyone, and I'll see you at the next stop.